Alright, guys, I just posted my video on God's grace. Please head over and listen to that. But in the meantime, let's get into this episode. It's going to be all about the etheric lower or physical body, basically the body that we touch. Before I get into it, let me give my little disclaimer. This in no way, shape, or form replaces any traditional Western medicine, science, or any other research, but to see the interconnectivity of it, that some issues may be due to underlying medical issue, but it doesn't hurt to heal your body on multiple levels. Do whatever gives you a peace of mind. Don't feel ashamed for wanting to go to the doctor or take medicine. I'm not against it because these things I do fall back on myself in my own journey, but stay in touch with reality. Every physical issue isn't that deep. Sometimes your ego will exaggerate things to boost your sense of importance, i.e. feeling like your spinal pressure is your kundalini energy rising, when it could just be pent-up stress, anxiety, or you sitting in a chair for 5 hours or sleeping wrong. See, it could be a whole host of options. This is how you stay grounded in reality in your human as well as your spiritual experience. Also, my blogs will always be revised more than my audio episodes. Just an FYI, I'm on a journey as well, so everything I post out, I may say, dang, I really don't really feel that way anymore. I have this new level of consciousness. So let me revise it, because every episode I do, I write it all out, and I'm basically kind of reading and ad-libbing with you guys. So that's why I have blogs to match some of my episodes. So I can easily go back and edit the blog versus going back into an audio and editing. That's just too much. That does not fit with my lifestyle. So if down the line, I would always go back to my blogs to just, compare and contrast or whatever. But so far I haven't really made any revisions, so you're good. Okay, ponder this. Think about how people say stress causes hair loss. That is a sign right there that instinctively or intuitively we do believe in the ability of emotions and feelings affecting the physical body in some way. Which leads me to what is known as the etheric body in the spiritual community. But ultimately, it's just a lower, denser, or physical body composed of glands, adrenals, nerves, organs, cells, the chakras. I believe the nadis are part of it as well. Joints, bones, skin, etc. Not the chakras and nadis may not be, because they're more energetic. However, they do affect the physical. It's all interconnected. So, and you have the 3 lower chakras, which is the root is the first one, and that governs like the digestion, constipation, hemorrhoids. Things can show up like that. Then you have the second chakra, which is a sacral chakra, and that is it can show up with ovaries issues, the guts, intestines, liver, kidneys, bladder, so things like colitis and IBS. And I'm sorry, but the root chakra is also, it's located between the anus and the genitals. So it's like the area, that space in between. I think it's called perineum. Then you have the third chakra, which is is basically like the stomach in the navel area, and that can affect different like digestive issues as well. Then you have the aura, from the surface of the skin to 3 to 4 feet out. And so, yeah, for Black people, we have dissociated a lot to deal or cope with this constant state of intergenerational trauma we face on a day-to-day basis, whether in reality, in our households, or in the media. It's all the same to the subconscious mind. The post-traumatic slave syndrome of passed down sexual and physical, emotional, and psychological traumas our ancestors dealt with, and within our current lives still plague this disconnect from our mind and body as a survival tactic. Emotions govern this body as well, showing up as physical sensations. The trauma body, the vagus nerve, or the trauma nerve, is the largest nerve that stems from the back of the brain all the way down the spine, communicating with all the major organs, having a huge impact on the fight, flight, fawn, or freeze response. This affects our ability to rest and digest and recenter after a stressful event or perceived stressful event. This can create a stress response like headaches, a hunched posture. For me, it was blackouts, racing heart rate, stomach aches, sweaty palms. And there's many ways to activate this vagus nerve. By the way, I'll get down to that. But without rest and digest, if not managed or released, our nervous system will stay in the state of overdrive, and our brain will get signals that danger is always present, as well as our body. Remember, when the body feels safe, the mind feels safe, and vice versa. A lot of times these traumas, these anxieties and these fears that we're having are stemming from something from the past that are in our subconscious mind. So a simple situation like an argument with a loved one can stem these feelings of fear and anxiety, but not realizing that this really came from slavery, when your the master would beat you or rape you and something like that. Well, not you, but your ancestors, that you carry that memory with you. So a simple argument can stem intense, immobilizing fear and debilitation, like thinking like, oh, what's going to happen if I speak up, or if I say this, he's going to beat me, or he's going to kill me, or all these feelings or thoughts or intrusive things go through our body, and they may not even show up as thoughts, but our body may go through all these intense feelings, emotions, like the things, the physical things I just mentioned up there: heart rate, the posture, the headaches, the sweaty palms, the race, all that stuff, because you're really playing out a situation from a past experience into a small situation. That's why I say a lot of times, as Black people, we can't trust our intuitions right now until we've healed more and more, because our intuition can be confused as our wound. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this constant state within the physical body can manifest in what's called somatization, which is basically physical symptoms or dis-ease within the body. So this is where actual medical and physical conditions arise from the stress or low energies, trapped emotions, and hormones, stress hormones like cortisol, that are stored within the body. So when you don't deal with those things, and when you don't come back to a place of rest and digest, they get trapped into your body, and they create these little balls of energy within your system, and they're known as energetic imbalances for energy healers. And so these things are usually the underlying causes of diseases. And so when you go into the doctor and you get this diagnosis, they're giving you treatments and pills for things based on a symptom, and not from the trapped or stored, deeper rooted issue. Now, like I said, it's all interconnected. So I'm not saying to take away any of the Western intervention, but what I'm saying is heal on multiple levels to really get rid of everything. Remember, my opinion on depression, on Black depression, it's the repression and suppression of emotions and the whole self. So that ranges from everything, from physical repression, mental repression, spiritual repression, energetic, just overall energetic repression, emotional repression. So let's get down to how we learn how to heal our bodies and release it from its inner turmoils and interpretations that go back up and communicate back up that vagus nerve to the brain. It's a back and forth street. It's a two-way street. So the brain communicates to the body, and the body communicates to the brain. Like I said, when the body feels safe, the mind feels safe, and vice versa. When the mind feels safe, the body feels safe. Remember, the body keeps the score, but the mind interprets it. The first step is recognize and become aware of your sensations. Start assessing your stress, tension points, and triggers you have. For example, digestive issues, migraines, high blood pressure, and other chronic or repetitive health issues. Some issues I've dealt with that I've felt came from this constant state of stress and repression and ignorance of self. When, like I said, self is emotions, feelings, thoughts, bodily functions, etc. So some of the issues I've dealt with based on the repression of those things are chronic constipation, digestive issues, GERD, tension, knots in my shoulders, back, and neck, excruciating stomach pains, colitis, passing out, also known as syncope, concussions, that came from the passing out, migraines, and debilitating nausea. And when I say debilitating migraines too, whew, boy, those are my biggest thing. From an energetic standpoint, ponder this. If chakras and meridians or nadis are like mini brains that are within the body, then you have to learn how to communicate with them. You cannot ignore that they exist. That's why people do EFT and other energetic healings, because you're working with those energy centers within the body. You are literally tapping into those concentrated energy fields, waking them up, acknowledging them to help them release the trapped energy within your system. Also know that when you're doing energy and body work, energy healing within the body and body work, your mind will start to, bring up thoughts and narratives within your brain, because those energies are being communicated to the brain for you to transmute them and reframe them and release them. But ultimately, these trapped energies are the roadblocks that prevent you from reaching feelings of love, bliss, ecstasy, and joy. You have to clear them out so you can continue on your path. All of these ailments and issues that you may have, sexually or health-wise, medically, psychologically, they're coming from blocks. Think of your chakras as 7 energy centers down your body. And so each energy center, think of them having a pathway on either side. And so when you have trapped emotions, that road that leads to that chakra, that trapped emotion is like a wreck in the middle of that road. So if you're trying to, it's messing up the flow to that chakra. I hope I can paint a picture. If I can get it together, I will try to draw a picture and post it somewhere, either on my YouTube or either in the community tab or on the website, so you can kind of see what I'm saying. But yeah, they block your path and they create the imbalances, which when something goes unaddressed for so long, that's what creates the diseases and the depression and the anxiety and all these things. For example, emotions that can impact your digestive issues for the most part are anxiety, fear, perfectionism, lack, rage, anger, overwhelm, caretaker burnout, being highly empathic, or what is known as a highly sensitive person, HSP. These usually show up in the solar plexus, and energetically, the solar plexus deals with all of the will and power and action, and that's in the stomach area. So you see how it's all connecting back, the action and power and the stomach, and then the emotions that affect it, and then how they show up as, colitis, IBS, extreme stomach pains, these types of things, nausea, the nervous stomach. Why is the nervous stomach? Because you don't have the will, you're afraid, you have that fear, you have that anxiety. You see how it's connecting, that IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Anyway, so basically, energetically is known as the solar plexus, but physically is known as the stomach adrenal area. And so that's the interconnectivity. That's why I say you need to heal on multiple levels, not just the physical, but the spiritual, mental, emotional, all of those levels. Assess when they flare up or when they've started originally. They usually are indications of energetic imbalances. Focus on physical tension or pains within the physical to illuminate imbalance in the metaphysical. So when you can pinpoint areas within your physical body, it can show you where energetically maybe you are imbalanced, or what it could be leading to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a spiritual diagnosis or energetic diagnosis. Reflecting on my childhood, I can recall when going to middle school every day and having like these IBS symptoms, like feeling nauseous in my stomach. And I was like, Mom, I don't know why. As soon as I pull up to school, my stomach would really start cramping really, really bad. Not realizing this was immense feelings of anxiety and fear. I had a nervous stomach and never knew what to do about it. Also, as a kid, I remember my grandmother feeling the pressure of cooking a meal that didn't make me nauseated. As a kid, I had a lot of stomach issues, having ulcers and being given this long list of foods that I couldn't eat. That gave me a really poor foundation in relationship with food and its power to heal. So when I went to Western medicine, what they told me was, oh, lose weight and don't eat this. Does that really sound like something you tell like a young kid? I mean, a kid. And when I tell you the list, when I tell you everything, I was like, what can I eat? Water? Like, I was like, are you kidding me? I swear I threw that list. I'm like, they got me messed up. Like, that's not the solution. I knew right there intuitive. Like, if I go by this list, I'm not going to be eating nothing but crackers and water. Like, I swear, I'm like, and it's like the nerve that was actually given to a child. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why I said there are advancements that we've made headway or whatever, but we have to know that it's deeper than that. That cannot be the solution. More examples of, my own reflection. When, like, for example, when my livelihood or home stability is shaken, I get TMI, hemorrhoid flare-ups. And I feel like this is something I noticed just from having a lot of black friends and family members. This is an issue that a lot of us have. And I feel like it's because it's a rooted issue. This is the root is something that we need to focus on a lot as black people. That is where that's the tribal root, that's the ancestral root, that's the inner child root. That's where a lot of our issues come from. Also, I deal with hair loss my entire life, but especially in highly stressful situations. I battle with trichotillomania, which is a compulsive disorder, and it can also come from a poor self-love and not loving or having gratitude for your physical. What God gave you will result in you losing it. If you're not grateful for the things you already have, you will lose it. That's why I had to do my self-love journey, that challenge of the natural challenge, just learning how to love myself as a black woman with natural, kinky 4C hair. With texturism and colorism and all these things, it fuels us with so much self-hate. So I had to learn how to love all of the blackness of me. Also, from years of letting people into your head mentally. And it can also be other things like nutrient deficiencies like vitamin D, anemic, zinc, and last but not least, a disconnect from God and spirit. And that circles back around to not having love. Because if you are a creation from God and you are created in God's image and you don't love yourself, it's like not loving God and not appreciating that God did not make no mistakes when he made you. Like I said, see the YouTube video on hair and spirituality and the episode on self-love, self-care, and detaching from the mind. Because for the black person on the spiritual journey, the first step to me is self-love, self-care, and detaching from the ego monster mentality. Those are the first steps. Yes, body work is important, but you need to be kind of doing them simultaneously. But I feel like detaching from the mind is going to be the first thing to prevent you from losing your mind, because you're going to get a lot of thoughts that come up within your mind as you're healing these and releasing these energies within your system. And you're going to need to know that they are not you, that they're just the thoughts that are coming up that you need to transmute, which is reframing and learning from those things and what they taught you and releasing them and letting them go. Remember, your body is your oracle, basically kind of like a roadmap. It doesn't lie. Its feelings are valid, but sometimes, like I was saying earlier, its interpretations is from past trauma, making you perceive it as present or imminent danger, meaning like it's something that's currently as extreme as it was back then. And it's something that comes from that post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSD, things that we have not been recognized for having, even though we are the most well-known group of facing trauma. But so this is why a lot of times black people are very, they're startled easily. They get mad if you scare them. You walk up on, man, bro, don't do that no more. You know how we is, and it's like, or we see everything as life or death or like the end of the world. Like we're very dramatic in that sense, and that comes from that feeling of in a constant state of trauma. Like, what do you expect? Learn how to recognize the difference and nurture those wounds and spirits within. the inner child. It's like I said on a lot of my other past videos lately. I have a video on getting to know your spirits coming soon. I'm just still kind of living and going through it to kind of figure out what else I want to add. For example, if you've been in a wreck, your stomach may cramp every time you get behind the wheel. It doesn't mean that your intuition is predicting your demise. Oh my God, no, my stomach is hurting. I got in this car. That means we're going to get a wreck. No. But it's more of an illumination of the inner turmoil or distress your body is going through based on that past event. And that past event can be something that you don't even remember. It could be something that has been intergenerationally passed down, slavery, that affects you in your day-to-day life now. So let's get down to the solutions. Pray over everything. Do nothing without intention. Create your own prayer or use mine so you don't have to stress about doing it for every single moment. I like to put this up in my house, and its intentions is for every person within my house, all of my loved ones, whatever. And I feel like the more people that share a same prayer, the more power goes into it. So I have a list of prayers on my blog, but like I said, I'm all about autonomy and personal sovereignty. So you are in power. You feel free to use those or just use them as a reference and tweak them for your own liking, Other solutions. Ease and grace. Slow your roll. Don't bend spirituality like I did, or you can lose it. And when I say lose it, I mean your mind. Even though you need to kind of lose your mind, you don't want to lose it in the sense where you can't gain it back. And this is why a lot of our black men and women are out here like literally snapping and going off the deep end because they have not been grounded, and they don't have the faith in God and the prayer behind them to give them that sustainability. So yes, and it goes right into faith in God is necessary to continue in this journey. You're not being asked to put your trust in everyone, but God resides in all living things. So know that the Creator's power can overpower any being or your trust. Basically, the only thing you should have trust in is faith. A foundation in faith can't fail. And so these are some of the main foundational things you're going to need to carry along with you on your journey. Another thing is guard the windows of the soul. Set intentions. And I do have a prayer for the windows of the soul on my blog, so you can check that out as well. Scan your body and question what you feel. Awareness. Get back in touch with your five senses. Touch, smell, see, hear, taste. There's also something called somatic meditation. You can learn how to do that for yourself. Ask what emotions do not feel safe or comfortable expressing. See coming out the spiritual closet episode to gain some perspective. So that has a lot to do with physical. The reason why I'm mentioning some emotional stuff is because generally the physical, by the time it shows up in the physical, is something emotional that has created the physical. So you kind of need to know how to work with them simultaneously to get that understanding. Also, a lot of the stuff in my videos, if you listen to a lot of them, it may sound repetitive or redundant, and it has to be that way because I don't know what videos people watch. Plus, the information needs to constantly be embedded within your subconscious so that it becomes part of a new rewiring, because we need to hear things multiple times to our brain is like a muscle, so it has a memory. You need to practice and practice and practice and work it out, doing the same thing so that it becomes accustomed to it. Another thing, get the vibes right. Get the vibes right. Create nostalgia or feelings of safety within through visualization and feelings. The mind doesn't know the difference. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between watching a show about trauma and actually being in a traumatic experience like, or watching a scary movie about monsters and actually feeling like the monster is really after you. This is why your body goes through all that adrenaline rush, because it's actually perceiving it as real. Think about how we've been doing this in our culture forever. Watch my God's Grace video. I just posted it. But basically, on Juneteenth, I felt a lot of stress, so I got up for my nap and started cooking my husband's Father Day meal. A good old home cooked gumbo while I was listening to some old school jams, Kim Maxwell, Luther, Marvin, Sade, Neo Soul, while singing, dancing, and drinking a glass of wine. I was getting the vibes right, those feel good ones. Those will help with getting in the body and like liberating your spirit, and those all help. It's all about back to the basics. The body needs food, water, movement, rest, sunlight, detoxification. I will be working on an old school remedies episode, so just keep an eye out for that. That's probably not going to come for a little while though. But in the meantime, reflect on your own family's remedies and just little things that y'all used to do back in the day, like to help certain ailments or sicknesses or whatever, or So when it comes to the body, basic things the body needs. This is a holistic perspective, remember. So the things the body need on multiple levels. But drink a lot of water. It is a natural flusher of toxins, or AKA waste energy. It holds memory and is a purifier. Think of baptisms. It transmutes energy. So water overall is good. It just flushes your body. If you want to look at it simple as that, just drink water. It flushes you. It helps release any toxicities within your body. So are other bodily functions. So we need to start destigmatizing the natural human bodily responses. If you were like me, especially I feel like just in this society, the need to fart, poop, pee, spit, sweat, cough, vomit, sneeze are all kind of perceived as, how can I say, embarrassing in a sense. Also, other bodily functions like female menstruation and fever. Like I always say, it's better out than in. We tend to subconsciously reject and dislike things that seem ugly, nasty, or dirty. That's just the world we live in. Everything has to be perfect and pristine. On the outside, this big mask, this big persona, once again, shadowing all human aspects of ourselves, which is why as Black people, we're engulfed in this shadow. This is what leads to depression, repression of self, all aspects of self, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. This body is doing what it's designed to do, self-heal. And medicine alone just suppresses the healing responses. Just look at animals like the vulture. They urinate on themselves to flush their bodies of toxins, bacteria, or parasites they pick up from dead carcasses. That's why they say, think about this, pee after sex to cleanse the vaginal canal and strip it of toxins. Even though the vagina is a self-cleansing organism, ultimately we are all interconnected and share a lot of similarities within how we process trauma, how we cleanse ourselves, how we, just cleanse ourselves of energetic waste, I like to call it, because everything is energy, even if it's physical and is matter, like more tangible. Even if it's a solid, liquid, or gas, it's still energy deep down to a molecular, cellular level. So to integrate and to be whole again, you have to start accepting and aligning or merging your lower human self, the body, with your higher soul self, which is more of the spirit and the soul. And you have to find the bridges, or in the meantime, cleanse out the roadblocks, cleanse out the energy, cleanse out the trapped energy. Be human. Be human. Express yourself when you need to express yourself. Heal those wounds. Release that emotional baggage. I was a person who repressed everything about myself due to these internalized pressures from society to be girly, perfect, attractive, whatever. I didn't like to acknowledge anything that didn't fit into those boxes. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate on your own personal insecurities or internalizations. Maybe it wasn't to be girly, but maybe it was to be manly, or maybe it was to look strong, or whatever, to fulfill these roles that we have been given as black people. Oh, be the strong person. You're so strong. You're so smart. Or you're so brave, so you can do it. These are mind tricks, man. Oh yeah, I'm strong, huh? So I can be the one that's doing all the work. You got me messed up. But on another note, I didn't even talk to my mom about, my cycle until late, because I didn't feel comfortable or safe expressing myself, because I was such a shameful person, and it wasn't something that was talked about or normalized. So these are things that, like I say, these stigmas and these conditionings create around behaviors that we have, that leads to the repression of the emotion, that lead to the dis-ease, that lead to the physical symptoms. It is all a chain reaction. So you have to go back to the root of the problem so that you can eradicate it and fully cleanse it out, and not just hit the surface. Oh, you got a rash on the surface, so let's get here, put this ointment on here, even though that rash done came from a trapped emotion that stemmed from an intergenerational trauma. You see how it's deeper than that. Everything is not deeper now, but like I said, sometimes it is, and that's why it's good to just have a full view of it. But some other things that you can do to cultivate a healthy body is, take your multivitamins, eat bananas. I don't know why I want to say that. Drink cranberry, pomegranate juice. These are things that I do, so that's why I'm saying it as well. Antioxidants, cherries, blueberries, etc. Like the dark berries, let food be thy medicine. There's a video on that. Look it up somewhere on YouTube. Healthy fats, root vegetables, dark leafy greens, omega-3s. And I'm not a nutritionist, but these are things that I feel like I are kind of tried and true. So just look into and do your own research. There's also something called the pagan diet, which kind of looks more into not just a diet, but more on what works for you based on your ancestry, lineage, and just more on a holistic, deeper level than just, fruits and vegetables, eat your fruits and vegetables. No. Take a probiotic. You can do a DIY kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, I believe is what it's called, and fermented pickles. I like to do that myself. It's pretty easy, but you can Google like DIY fermented pickles and stuff like that. Just put them in a little mason jar with your vinegar and sugar and pepper or pickling spice. Other things I do is apple cider vinegar, vitamin D3, K2, iron and vitamin C, and black pepper. And you want to couple these things together, like D3 and K2. The K2 helps you absorb the D3. The vitamin C helps you absorb the iron. The black pepper helps you absorb like turmeric and other in food in general. It's just good for the digestive system. Then you have like Himalayan sea salt. Himalayan salt, magnesium, and then there's other stuff like ashwagandha that people use recently. I'm still like in the early stages of taking some of these supplements, so you don't have to binge it and overdo it. Just set a prayer to use physical food and matter supplements to transmute the medical physical energy, like the toxins, the bacteria, the disease within you. Learn how to work with everything with intention. That's why I say I like to just write it out and kind of put it on my house, so it's like if I do forget, this intention is still there. When I have stomach virus, like food poisoning, I used non-caffeinated chamomile, ginger, peppermint teas, water, electrolytes, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory foods like kale, bell peppers, and I had several tiny meals instead of 3 big meals. So these are just a little tip that you can use if you ever feel like you have something like that. But ultimately, try to make a lot of your foods at home. But if you don't, those prayers and intentions are powerful enough to help you transmute and release that energy with ease and grace. Please check those prayers out to just stay prayed up. Give yourself grace. Balance and moderation. Practice is key. Make a list. Make them small promises. It's okay if you fall off. Get right back on and go again. It's not the end of the world. We are literally starting from scratch, from ground zero. Give yourself that grace. Just make a list. Like me, I put lists all around my house, like by my bed for a nighttime routine, by my cabinet in the kitchen for like all my like vitamins and stuff. I put one in the bathroom by the mirror, like, my little morning routine when I brush my teeth, wash my face, gargle, and at night I have my little, just make like a little list. And even if you don't do everything off the list, don't beat yourself up, because that's when you want to fall off the wagon and stay off, because you don't beat yourself down so much that now you're not motivated to get back up. Your spirit is what keeps you moving. You got to constantly give it validation, and talk to yourself. Put your hand on your heart. It's okay. We fell off. It's a challenge. It's a lot, but it's not to binge. It's a journey, not a destination. Do you think every spiritual person don't have a cheat day and what I call a spiritual cheat day, and they watch some trash TV and eat some hot Cheetos and a pint of ice cream? Yes. They go to their favorite fast food restaurant. I don't care how good they look, how in shape they are. They eating they sour straws just like everybody else. Incorporate daily stretches into your morning and nighttime routine. 5 to 10 minutes. Something is better than nothing. And like 30 seconds on each pose. It doesn't have to be yoga. Go back to gym in school. When you would put your arm across your other arm, hold it, put one hand over the head and hold the elbow, turn your head left to right. Like the basics. It doesn't have to be intricate and grandiose. That's ego. You can get spiritual enlightenment from regular old stretching. I don't care what nobody say. Because when you put yourself in this box of I have to do it, I have to know how to do this way, that way, that's a roadblock, because now you're stopping your spiritual growth based on a skill that you don't have. You're literally trying to do everything. You can't do that to yourself. Start with what you have and make those things spiritually connecting. That's why you need to listen to the God's Grace video. It'll show you how to use everyday things to attune you to their spiritual nature. Deep tissue massages, acupressure, acupuncture, self-massage, make DIY body massage oil. I made one and oh my gosh, it was so good. Do jaw massages. And the reason why I'm focusing on these is because we hold a lot of our tension and stress in our jaw, neck, shoulders, and traps. So that's like an area I feel like we all kind of should focus on a lot. With those, you can use for your jaw massage, you can use a hand roller or a jade roller or your hands. And to work on the traps and the shoulders and the neck muscles, you can use a foam roller, a towel, and tennis ball. There's several videos on those. Get facials, scalp massages, wash your hair, and for my ladies, wash your weaves with apple cider vinegar. Just a little extra bonus tip. Take Epsom salt baths. You can even put essential oils in there too. Do aromatherapy, and that's where you put the essential oils in your diffuser, or just smell them or apply them topically in your massage oils. And don't neglect seeing a professional when necessary. Like I said, this is not to take away from Western medicine. It's to see the interconnectivity into a holistic view. See an acupuncturist, chiropractor, kinesiologist, primary care physician. Get a test done to check all your electrolytes deficiencies. Get a physical, go to the OB-GYN, whatever. Move your body a lot. That goes with that stretching. Keep the energy flowing. I put in my calendar every day as an alarm to move my body. That way I don't stress about what kind of movement it has to be. I don't like to get rigid or beat myself up if I don't do something. So just move my body gives me a lot of space to do anything. It could be cleaning, walking at the park, doing my morning stretches, whatever. Connect with your body. Align the mind with the body and spirit. Notice how you feel, the sensations throughout your body. Using some sort of body work techniques listed throughout this whole episode. Do a nervous system reset. If you use a yoga block or something that lifts your lower part of your body above your heart, hold it for at least 3 to 5 minutes. It lowers your blood pressure and your stress hormone, the cortisol, and so that kind of helps you come back to that rest and digest. It may not work like magic, but it's something that kind of, research your body in the morning or throughout the day or at night. Also, another way you can do it is by putting your butt flush against the wall and your legs flush against the wall, like up. So like standing, like your legs are your toes are all the way up and your head is down. So your back is on the floor. So, but yeah, look up nervous system reset and stuff like that. But I'm going to be doing a video more on the black nervous system and all that, and do deep belly breaths, bringing your body to calm. And also that lean over stretch is another way to do like a shifting of the blood flow. There's also something called hand energy technique, where you tune into the energy as it moves around in the body. Ask yourself, like, do you feel tingling, pulsating, and where throughout your body? I know a lot of times for me, when I feel energy moving throughout my body, it's more like little pulsating, little jolts, and I can feel it's like the little meridian points within my body. I can feel them just kind of pulsate and vibrate a little in different little spots. So yeah, just start to feel and connect with the energy moving through your body. Your hand has very powerful energy fields within them. And then you also have like meditations, like I said, the somatic meditations. They have cathartic, I believe it's called, meditations, where you kind of just get wild and crazy. You can use visualizations as well. Then they have mudras, which are hands. Symbols that people place over their body, energy centers, the chakras, and to kind of help connect with those energies. Then you have chants, like which aligns with specific, how can I say, energy centers within the body. Then you have sound healing, like sound bowls. They can be attuned to specific vibrations that communicate with like the frequencies of your chakras. So there's so much into it, but like I said, you can keep it simple, and you don't have to do all that right now, but you can choose to look into those further in the future. Yes, I will be trying to make more and more videos on it, but yeah, just use them to connect and communicate with the body's energy field. So when the body feels safe, the mind feels safe. Learn how to communicate with them to renew the body and the mind. Cultivate a conscious relationship with your body. Notice what it needs to release from your system and free it from overdrive. Do this to regulate your energy and come back to that rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system state. Like I said, I'll be dropping 4 episodes on the black nervous system, the black psyche, engulfed in trauma, and dissociation soon. So, in my sources, I will have them listed on my blog. But yeah, I hope this kind of helped you get a better understanding of the importance of the physical body and some things that you can do with body work and energy healing and just basic medical health and supplements that can help cultivate a healthy vessel and body that can be strong enough to lead you throughout your journey.